All right, joining me on the phone is all the way from overseas is the one and the only Hollowbelly. Hollowbelly, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, mate. It's great to hear your voice.
Nice for you to take some time for us and the listeners here. We know you got a new album coming out in just a few days, and we'll get to that in a minute. But right off the bat, why don't we explain how did you get the name Hollowbelly?
Well, that's a bit heavy duty, really. I've been in and out of hospital on and off. I don't want to say most of my life, because I've not been in hospital for the past 12 years, so that's cool. But during one of the sort of things that happened, I got sick, and they had to take my large intestine out, which is quite a lot. That's like about 3 meters of your inside. So I had about 3, maybe 4 operations, and so consequently, about 15 years ago, I lost my large intestine, and they kind of rebuilt me inside a bit. But then, I just thought, well, when it came to needing a name, I thought, well, hang on a minute, my belly's empty, and I thought, empty belly, that sounded a bit dumb, and I thought, hollow belly, yeah, that's got a ring to it. So, yeah, that's how I came to be Hollowbelly, because that's what I've got,
Yeah, you're literally a Hollowbelly.
Yeah, it's pretty literal. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's it. When people say your name Hollowbelly, the first thing that comes to mind as in the belly was everybody remembers lead belly. So.
Yeah. No, that's it's just quite a literal. It's just a name that came by circumstance. It's not connected to lead belly or anything else.
Right. Yeah. I'm really glad we could clear that up. And you are 100% original. Why don't you tell the folks the story of how your first gig was at the 100 Club? And we've known a lot of people played there. Muddy Waters and all that.
It was just insane, really. I found out about cigar box guitars, as usual, by just being on YouTube or tripping over them somehow. And so I just shoved a banister rail from B&Q. Because my woodworking skills are so poor, I just thought, well, what's the least cuts in a piece of wood that I can do and not mess up, So I thought, well, I'll get a banister rail because it's the right thickness, and it was even the right length. Shoved it through a tin box, wrote a tune, put it on YouTube, and people seemed to like it, so I wrote another one and another one. Anyway, this guy from London rings up, and he says, hey, I really like what you do, and do you want to play a gig? So I kind of panicked and thought, no, I've not practiced enough, I'm just not ready for a gig, and it's like 20 years since I've done a gig. So I said, look, ring back in a couple of months. So sure enough, I was lucky, really. He could have gone away and booked, 100 million other acts, but he didn't. He rang back and he said, are you ready? And I said, yeah, where is it? And I thought he was going to say, well, it's the Red Lion pub in, some small town or other. And he said, the 100 Club. And I thought, the 100 Club? Because it's just like such a famous venue. The Stones have played there, the Sex Pistols, the Clash, Oasis, Muddy Waters, everybody. And I thought, like, the 100 Club, and he was laughing down the phone, and he went, yeah, if you're going to debut, why don't you debut that? And I said, okay, and really that's how it was, I drove to London, and the next thing I'm walking down the back stairs, and you're going past all these pictures of people, not just artists who've played there, but artists who are playing there, in the act of playing there when the photo's taken. All these famous people, and you're just thinking, shit, I'm walking down the stairs with a guitar made out of a banister rail and a tin box,
Yeah, the same hallway the Stones walk down.
It's pretty, and it looks the same inside, it's exactly the same from, say, 1970 or something. So you can imagine the nerves and the adrenaline were really like, it was really pumping. And, but, you know, I got up and I did it, and it, you know, it seemed to go well, especially for, you know, I was quite pleased because it was a debut, you know, it was a debut thing. The last time I'd done a gig, you know, I'd have been 20 in a punk band with Black Spike, yeah, you know, so I hadn't done anything for years, and really. So that's how I came to debut at a place where, you know, anybody would be lucky. It's kind of the equivalent of, say, you've got CBGB's in New York, which is a famous club, like, you know, the Ramones and all them played. So it was the equivalent of that, I guess, the UK equivalent of that. But yeah, you know, I was just lucky, really.
That's really neat. Because, I mean, like, you know, you're saying the people you were fans of and were like Muddy Waters and all the Stones and the Sex Pistols, were those like your influences in music when you were like growing up and all of that?
Yeah, for absolutely sure. For the blues, any musician really would tell you the blues is home. You know, it's the roots of the tree. It doesn't matter whether you're into heavy metal, thrash, rap, funk, disco. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, they're all the branches of the tree, but the roots of the tree are blues. And you know, everybody likes blues. And then when I was a teenager, punk exploded onto a really stagnant and boring music scene. And, well, what was I? I was about 15, 16 or something. So that was a real big influence. The Ramones were just fantastic, and then the British bands started doing it. So you had the Pistols and the Clash. I remember going to see the Jam, you know, at Manchester Apollo. I've seen the Ramones twice. The Clash, I've seen the Clash in London at Brixton Academy. And I suppose that's quite obvious when you listen to my music. It's a melting of those two things, you know. And, you know, it's kind of like R.L. Burnside crashing into the Buzzcocks kind of thing, you know.
It seems like you do the both sides of the field. You know, the softer, lighter, you know, type songs you do very well, and you know, the faster punk blues songs you do very well also.
Yeah, well, it's kind of you to say so, yeah. I mean, I don't know, it's funny, when I recorded the album, sometimes me and Red, because, you know, Red Shaw recorded it for me. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, he had mentioned that you went up there and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, when me and Red were sitting there and playing some of the tracks back, I'm quite shocked sometimes, because I think, oh, it's really kind of like full on, you know. It's kind of like a punch to the face kind of thing. I don't know why. It's just like, ah.
Yeah, you saw when we debuted Shotgun last week. I mean, everybody in the chat room was just like, they went crazy. I mean, that was an amazing song, and I want to say thank you again for letting me debut those 3 Chords and the Truth and Shotgun on my show. Thank you very much for that. We greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, you're most welcome.